Welcome everyone. Happy Friday evening. I hope you all are having a fabulous day so far. Super excited to have you all join us today. My name is Rosa.
And I'm Nessa, and welcome to Chat with Rosa and Nessa. And we have phenomenal gentleman with us. I call him Mr. Charismatic, Stephan White, investor, entrepreneur, look, business owner, platinum leader, and again, Mr. Charismatic from the BProsperous Trade team here in the DMV representing I Am Mastery Academy. So we're excited to have you with us. Welcome to Chat with Rosa and Nessa.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome, that warm invite. I appreciate it greatly. How y'all doing today?
We're
Didn't I say charismatic? So Rosa, my lovely co-host Rosa is going to kick this off with a lot of questions. We want to get to know this gentleman and kick it off, Rosa, for us this evening.
absolutely again and welcome everyone. I'm super excited to have you, Mr. Stephan White, be our guest today because I know you're going to bring us some great value, some excitement. You're going to bring all the energy that we need this Friday night, right? So I'm super excited to have you and thank you for joining us. And my first question that I have for you is, what are some examples of adversity that you faced while being a part of IML? I know everyone has their own journey and faces their own battles, but what are some things that you faced and how you were able to overcome those battles?
It's crazy because I literally thought about questions like that and I thought about that time and time again. And I came to the realization that my biggest adversity that I ever faced was actually myself. Literally myself. And that's huge because one thing I learned is that, when you're going through with any type of with anything, any type of journey or whatever, you're gonna always run into the pitfalls, you're gonna run into setbacks, you're gonna make mistakes, all that kind of good stuff. But at the end of the day, it is ultimately you, yourself, that's gonna be your biggest enemy if you allow yourself to be that. I give you an example. Over the summer and whatnot, there's a lot of things going on. Me being a young black man, there was a lot of things going on in the news. And I'm seeing that, I'm going out into the city and I'm protesting with people and my mind is literally focused on that, things that are, really out of my control, but like my mind is focused on that. Um, my car is literally like behind on payments and it's breaking down. What else is going on? It's so many things going on. I'm dealing with family issues. My grandmother is sick. Both of my grandmothers were sick. So you're talking about a whole bunch of outside distractions that was literally turning my head away from, the ultimate goal, and that's to become a better person so that I can be better for everybody else. And that's in trading, that's in business and whatever. So I literally allowed that to consume me to the point to where I completely lost focus. And thank God that we have access to such amazing, mentors, and we deal with so many different, we're all in the trenches together. So I realized that I didn't utilize that like I was supposed to. I didn't utilize the people that were there to support me. I allowed myself to sit there and say, you know what, I don't want to drag them down, or you know what, they probably don't really want to hear what I got to say. I literally was in my way every single time when literally the answer was right there. All I had to do was allow myself to not be prideful and accept that help, to deal with these situations. So definitely me. I was definitely the biggest adversity.
Right, and that's great to honestly admit, and I can attest to that too. Where you're going through all this stuff, a lot of people can, and you just want to keep all that emotions and all that energy in, and you don't want to talk to the mentors and the leaders that we have that are specifically there to help us along that journey. And you just want to isolate yourself. You don't want to talk to anybody. You just start getting distracted, and life happens. Like we don't want to talk down on it. Like things happen, but we have people in our lives. Even if the people outside our family, our friends aren't supporting us, we have these mentors, these leaders that are there to listen to us and lift us up. They always say, like in the calls and stuff, don't talk to your downline or anything like that. If you're upset, call your leaders, your mentors. They've gone through stuff, they've gone through worse stuff, and they're there to really help us and educate that. So I really love that you brought that up. That's amazing. Um,
Exactly.
and going off of IML. So how did you learn about IML? when did you get started? And some people, there's like 50-50 kind of. Some people are like running with it and super excited, like, yes, I'm going to sign up. And others like, let me think about it. So how was your, how did that start for you? And what was your mindset before you got started?
Well, it's interesting because there was a woman that I used to talk to who was actually in IML at the time, and she was telling me about it, and she was like, "Look, I get it. You're in a company. It was a different. I was in a different company at the time and whatnot. You're in this company, but you can also invest while you're in this company, you know." And I kind of just was just like, I kind of turned my, not, I ain't gonna say I turned my nose up at her, but I was just kind of like, I'm so invested in this, I don't have time to learn about what you have going on. Fast forward later, me and her are no longer in contact anymore. And then next thing you know, people like Linda, people like Bianca have embarked on this new journey. And I'm seeing them post about it. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same thing that the woman that I used to talk to was a part of. And then, like I said, I did a little bit more research on my own without them even having to approach me. This is before they approached me. If you ask them, they'll probably tell you that I signed myself up. because they did reach out to me, and I told them, look, I already know about this and I'm actually ready to sign up, shortly. A little bit later, they had an event at Miss Hazelton's place. I don't know if y'all remember Tanisha Eves. She was at, me and her, we pretty much signed up within the same, I guess within the same weekend, I guess you could say. We were from another company together. I told her, look, since you were under me in the other company, you sign up first, and then I'm gonna sign up right up under you. And bam, that's how I went.
Awesome. So when you got started, did you have a moment in time where you sort of stop? People have that momentum where they go and go and go, and they're like on that 30, that 60, that 90-day run, or was there a moment where you just kind of like stopped and had to just, because I know with the situation with your family and stuff, there was that moment, but was there any other circumstances where you're just like, my head is like not focused, and I keep starting over and all this stuff?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I get distracted. I do. Sometimes I do get distracted easily. And I think me being able to acknowledge that has helped me to deal with, other distractions going forward. But I can honestly say that in the beginning, at least within those first 60, 90 days, I was so excited about the journey and about learning everything that I actually didn't let too many distractions literally penetrate, what was going on. Like, I believe, let's see, I believe within that first couple weeks, I was what, P150, P600 probably within the first, what, maybe within the first month or so. So like, I was moving along, but it was later on that those distractions started to get the best of me. And you know, and then here we are today.
Right. When you're really going, that's when life really wants to hit you. You're kind of like, okay,
Exactly.
I guess. So moving on to a different, shifting somewhere else. Why do you feel that growing up in an African American community, the topic of investing was not discussed? I know personally for me and my brother, at the dinner table, my parents weren't talking about investing and building wealth. It was more go to school, get good grades, graduate, find a good job, retire. It wasn't, okay, let's build this money, let's have financial freedom and all this stuff. It was about working for somebody else. And again, not downing a job at all, but it wasn't about building a legacy for us. It was about building someone else's. So why do you think that African American communities don't have that discussion with their children, and why it's not passed along?
Well, I think it's mainly because, and I guess I can use my own family as an example. Um, One of the main reasons why my parents didn't have that conversation with me is because, one, their parents didn't have that conversation with them. And I believe, through years, and, people can speculate on this, but I kind of feel like years and years and years of being put in certain situations and not having access to certain information, we kind of just were always spoon fed that, look, go to school, go to these schools that, that we were, left with, and, learn the simple stuff, your ABCs, your one, two, threes, go to college. If you don't want to go to college, join the army or join the Marines, join the military, you know. And if you don't want to do none of the above, well, guess what? You might want to go ahead and find you a job. Since you don't have a degree, you might have to start working at McDonald's, but eventually work your way up, or maybe even get a trade. And you know, those are some things that like my parents just kind of, you know, instilled into me. Of course, my parents knew for a fact that I would be able to go to college, so they instilled that into me instead. But at the end of the day, I think generally it's just within our community, there's not a lot of wealth. And because not too many people know about wealth building and know about investing, most people just kind of stuck with what they knew at the end of the day. Um, that's probably the best way that I can put it. Like, it's just the fact that the information wasn't there. And here's another thing. Not only was the information not there, as soon as that information was put in front of us, to us, since we didn't see it often, it was too good to be true. It was a scam. You know, this is real. Ain't no way. The only way I can really get money is by being a rapper or an athlete or an actor and actress.
Right. I
Yep.
definitely agree 100%. And you know, like you said, your parents, my parents, plenty of parents weren't talked about investing. So how important is it for you to make sure that you pass that down to your children and make sure that from you going forward that you know your children, your grandchildren know about this information and have an option. You know, if you want to go to college, you want to have a job, that's fine. But here's another option. You don't have to stick to that. How important is it for you to pass down that information? Because you know, for me, like my children, my grandchildren are gonna know about this because we're not gonna keep the cycle of go to school, college, work for somebody else. Like we're done with that. We need to change our mindset and start doing better for us.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. My future children, my future grandchildren, they would definitely know first thing about investing. And I'm not talking about just Forex, just cryptocurrency. I'm talking about stocks. I'm talking about real estate. That's something that I actually plan on learning more about too. And just literally being in this world of investing, being in this world of investing into yourself, you learn about so many other ways that you can invest your money. You know, like it's almost like your mindset starts to change a little bit. So now your mind is a little bit more open to jumping out there and, you know, trying different things, you know, taking these, you know, these risks. Because at the end of the day, honestly, the biggest risk is not really, it's not trying at all, not investing at all, you know. So
Absolutely. So, what has been the biggest change in your life since joining I Am Mastery Academy? What's something that has completely just changed? You're like, wow, like whether it be your mindset or anything like that, something that's really changed and just really molded you into a different person.
wow, that is a good, I want to say it's literally my mindset. Um, I think that's exactly, honestly, yeah, my mindset is probably the biggest thing that's literally changed. You know, despite the adversity that I have dealt with and me being able to admit, and the fact that I was able to admit that it was myself that was standing in the way of my success, you know, of my goals. I think it all comes down to the fact that my mindset has grown. I think I've grown mentally as a person. I think that's been the biggest change. I look at situations completely different. The type of people that I deal with, you know, I still have some of the same friends, but at the end of the day, I purposely surround myself with people that are not negative. And if you are negative, you know, I know how to quietly duck off into the cut like Neil Sporn and, you know, disappear and still love them from a distance. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think honestly, I think it's literally my mindset. And I think another one I want to kind of add as an honorable mention is to to be willing to speak in front of complete strangers. I think my communication skills have increased dramatically, you know, since being with this company. Like I'm more than willing to speak in front of people. I'm looking for that moment to where I'm actually standing up in front of actual human beings that I can touch and you know, speak in front of them. Because obviously that might be just a little bit different than on a live stream or on a Zoom call. But yeah, I think I've become a little bit more fearless. I think that's it.
Absolutely. I love it. I always say this, like, there's no way you can honestly like come and be a part of this amazing platform, this amazing organization, this family business, and not change in some way.
Right.
Whether it be your mindset, whether it be the people you're around, like there's nowhere that you cannot change because you're surrounded by such great leaders and mentors and people who are pouring into you each and every day. I know Vanessa's always been more of an out there lady, so I'm trying to still figure out what exactly has changed, except like maybe the money. But for me, my mindset was horrible before I got started, and I'm just really grateful for people who like didn't give up on me and just kept pouring to me each and every day, because it's every day, I mean, is a battle. The old me is fighting the me each and every day, and I just have to put in that effort to make the change, because at the end of the day, you can't really blame all the people around you. You just kind of have to just take accountability for yourself and realize, okay, what exactly are you doing? Because if you want to change, you have to do something to change. So I appreciate you telling us that. And one of my last questions for you, my favorite question I'm going to say is, can you speak about the mentorship? Here I am, because let me tell you, it is amazing. I love the leaders and the mentors that we have here because they pour into us. They're amazing. It's really a family business, and they truly, genuinely want the best for us and want us to succeed. And our goals is their goals, and they just are pouring to us each and every day. So I'm really grateful. So if you can speak a little bit about that.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, one thing I could definitely say is, first of all, I feel like this is more than just like my business partners. You know, I feel like people like Bianca, people like Linda, people like Noble, people like the Garrison Squad, Justin Owens, David Ebonitier. They feel more like a family than anything, simply because like they literally go out of their way to make sure that they're holding your hand, through. And here's another thing too. Not only are they making sure they go out their way to really make sure that you're good and make sure you're doing what you need to do, to make sure you know what you need to do, to make sure you understand the play, they are also holding you accountable as well. And they don't mind showing you a little bit of tough love in order, to yes, in order, until you get it, they're not going to let you take them for granted either. Like I've even been in a situation where like I would reach out to, one of my mentors, and, I'm not going to say any names, but like, she literally hit me with the look, contact, so and so and so and so, because when I had full access to her, I wasn't using her to, what's the word? I wasn't using her wisely, I guess you could say. And I hate using the word use, but in other words, I wasn't, I guess you could say, receiving her helping hand wisely. I kind of took it for granted. I didn't take it serious. So now she's kind of sitting back and it's like, look, I want to see that you're taking this serious now before I step in and offer my helping hand again. I gotta know that you're actually serious about this. And I know she's doing that because I know she sees what's the word I'm looking for? I know she sees a lot more in me than that I've been able to see in myself and whatnot. So shout out to her. As a matter of fact, man, you mind sharing who it is? But yeah, shout out to her, and I thank her most definitely, for everything that she has done. But yeah, the mentorship is phenomenal. The knowledge that they what's the word I'm looking for? That they dress us with. Justin Owens, man, that guy's sharp. David Ebonitier, man. Oh my goodness. He's all of our mentor. His selflessness, his willingness to mentor somebody that actually genuinely needs his help. They don't even have to necessarily be in this company to receive some type of mentorship on. And I've witnessed that. I've seen that live and uncut. He's extremely selfless, extremely selfless. And I feel like to become a great leader, you have to be selfless. You literally have to be selfless, because it's bigger than yourself. It's literally bigger than yourself. And the leaders in this company have really demonstrated that. And I'm going to model that as I continue to grow as well. Be as selfless as possible, go to work for the people, so.
Absolutely. It's not just about us, it's about everyone and helping everyone achieve and reach their goals. And that tough love, we all need that for sure. So
Right.
I can attest to that too. We definitely do that. But I appreciate you, Stephan. I'm going to pass it over to Miss Vanessa Gilbert.
All right.
Okay, now speaking of mentorship, I hope everybody's registered for Bob Proctor has a 5 day paradigm shift training next week, the 15th to the 19th. So if you didn't register for that, it's free and it's for 5 days. Bob Proctor, he has his Mindset Academy, but it's not part of the academy. It's free. So if you didn't register for that, it starts next Monday, the 15th. So that's just a shout out to our mentorship and all that we have access to. Okay, so now let's talk about trading. You started what, about a year ago, right?
Right.
And what has been your journey like in the academy itself? What is your favorite part of the academy? Do you have any favorite strategies? Everybody's experience is different. Everybody likes different strategies. What someone else loves. You have to find what works for you, right? With the strategies and the education. So let's talk about that a little bit. What's been your overall experience?
Well, this is one thing I'd definitely say. I enjoy it a lot. It's fun. It's a roller coaster ride because I know me, I can be a little risky at times and whatnot. And of course I had to kind of learn the hard way too, but that's okay. I know myself and I feel like the experience was worth it because I think by me literally learning these skills and getting into the charts and actually jumping out there taking that risk, it taught me a lot of things. But I could definitely tell you this, man, that go live, woo, that freaking go live, that go live, that go live, that go live, it is the truth. Just being able to have access to, whichever educator that you choose, and they literally give you live analysis strategies, and I'm talking about they take it all the way down to the one, two, threes and ABCs. I think I said that backwards, but that's cool. ABCs and one, two, threes. And really break everything down to the detail. And then the fact that, if you have to ask them a question, you know, right in the chat, they're responding. You know what I mean? Even if they don't respond right away, they'll stop what they're doing to take a look at everything that's going on. And okay, that's a good question. I'll go ahead and answer that. And really, every question is a good question because it's being asked. But one of my favorite strategies is definitely the head and shoulder strategy. Um, absolutely love that strategy. Um, and then like the more you look at the market, the more you kind of get a chance to really just kind of look at it and you're able to pick it up without even like really studying the markets long. Like it's so like it's like wow. It's wow. So I can definitely say that as far as like what's my favorite strategy, I've dibbled and dabbled in a couple of them so far, but I want to say head and shoulder, and I want to actually just get real good at not using indicators per se. Just
Mm.
knowing how to read market structure and price action, and just going off like that. And whatnot. I find that that'll probably be more beneficial for me in the long run. So
Okay, now name two or three of your favorite educators?
two or three.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I,
After you probably have way more than 2 to 3, but like
I
top
mean,
five.
actually, yeah, I like a lot of them, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say this: On Right, definitely.
Uh,
Abel Melendez,
hmm
and there's a pair of educators. They are I'm not sure if they're brothers or not. I cannot, and it's crazy because I cannot think of their name, but they honestly have probably provided me the most value out of everybody. And the way they trade is they literally are just price action traders and whatnot. They read market structure, price action,
Is it
and
Chad in Savannah or no?
say again.
Is it Chad? Is that his name or somebody else? Chad.
Ah,
I don't know.
I can't. I
oh
know
my
who you're
goodness.
talking about, but I don't know the names. I know who you're
It's
talking about though.
it's literally two of them. It's literally two of them or whatever, and they kind of share. Like sometimes one of them would do the show or do the live, and sometimes both of them would do it, together. And other times it might just be one of them, and it's just crazy. Zach and somebody else. The name, oh my gosh, I feel bad for not remembering the names because oh my god, you're giving me so much value.
And I love Orrin Wright though. He's market structure king. I mean, you want to learn market structure. Orrin Wright is who I've been in. In fact, oh my gosh, my 1 year anniversary is March 20th. It's been a year. So it's hard to believe this is March. This is March, right?
Right.
Anyway, it goes very quickly. But Orrin Wright was one of the first educators I studied, and I got to give a shout out to Manny Q. I'm sorry, Manny Q, and the strategies of harmonic scanner is just life changing from the elementary all the way to the advanced levels of. And harmonic scanner is one of my favorites, but I'm an early riser, so I love DeLorean again because I take them classes at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. And Abel Melendez is part of two families. He's part of the DeLorean family as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
along with Patrick Kenny and Tyrone Foster, but those early morning classes, what I love about the academy is fits your schedule no matter what your schedule is.
Right.
I get up very early in the morning, so I like to get my go lives done early. Then you got your night owls. You got 11 o'clock at night classes. I love it because it's for everybody. It's no such thing that you don't have time because it's 24 hours a day. You got classes on the weekend. What's that guy's
Exactly.
name? He puts out. He has classes on the weekend, even Sundays. I can't pronounce. It begins with an A. Oh gosh.
It's
He
so
just put
many
out two.
different. There's so many
Yeah, but he
amazing
does
educators.
Sunday
Not
go
many probably know
lives.
everyone.
But you subscribe to their channel and you get the little notification. He does Sunday classes all the time. Sundays. He's
Mhm.
training on Sundays on Go Live, but I can't remember his name. And of course, we all love Kim Torres, the setup of the
And
week.
so much the
I mean,
truth.
she gives you the whole setup for the whole week. So everybody got the fact that she opens it up to the whole, and then they get on Instagram, but they do classes on Instagram. Kim Torres, Ivan Paychecks from crypto. He's always from digital currency. He's on
Mhm.
Instagram a lot. He be throwing out. She gives out classes on Instagram. They will text you back on Instagram. I message a couple. Luke Longmire, who's Kim Torres' buddy, Mr. Gold himself. They will actually get back to you. These people will message you back. So that's what I like about the fact that they really truly care about you. So next question. You already talked about mindset with Rosa. What's been your biggest mindset change towards money, specifically towards money, since you joined the academy? As you have a mindset change towards the dollar bill or money since you joined the academy?
Well, I think my biggest mindset change was the fact that I'm so much more willing to invest that money. Even if you know, eh, you know, at one point in time, let's say if I only had $100, I would just, look, it's $100. I guess I just spend it up on getting something to eat or something like that. Nowadays, if I see some coins or if I see anything pertaining to investing that money, if I can just take that money and put it in my trade account, I'll do that and flip it. Or I look at a couple coins and maybe I can get a couple more Doji coins, or I can get a couple more, XRP coins. So it's like the willingness to be able to the willingness to invest the money versus just spend it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm
Yes.
more invest first. I have a more invest first mindset. I'm actually, and like I said, I'm not. I know we're not here to talk about that, but even things outside of trading cryptocurrency and whatnot, I've actually begun to invest in a class that's going to teach me some other type of marketing skills. With social media, marketing and stuff like that. So it's just like, the willingness to invest the money.
Yes, yes. And I took a couple classes on LinkedIn marketing about 4 or 5 months ago that's been really changing,
Mhm.
connecting with people in a different way, whole different, depending on the platform you're on, the audience is totally different. And the professionals or LinkedIn. I took a LinkedIn class that's been really life changing with the quality of people. Because,
Mhm.
like you, I saw a real quick running quick. The P150 was almost P600 twice. 5 people leave at a time. Then I don't hit the P600. But I was like, you know what? It's not about it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. People who want to learn. People who want to change. Like Brooke said last week, we had Brooke on, and she said, "Look, I can only put you in front of the information, but if you don't have the discipline to study and you don't want to change, you don't want to grow, and that goes towards leadership because I was just slapping them in last year, right? But for me, the focus is no, I had to take a step back and look at, okay, what can I learn differently to do differently? And that LinkedIn class and social media class, you hit right on. You got to be willing to spend the money to invest in your education just beyond this academy to broaden your understanding. So that's a great example. So now you already talked about leadership. Y'all touched on a lot of stuff I was already going to ask you, but you touched on this. So as a leader, a two-part question. Let's keep it real. Brooke spoke on this last week. The process of becoming a leader, you're always developing that, right? So, what's been your greatest challenge on having a team of people, being a leader, business owner, and what's been your greatest reward? I know this was not, it is nowhere in the, not planned. Just if you could share your process, what it's been like, because you hit the ground running pretty quickly. You know, boom, 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 boom. You got a team together pretty quickly. What's been your greatest challenge, and what's been your greatest rewards?
Man, it's crazy because I'm realizing that even with this question, it's almost kind of like, I want to say it's almost the same answer. I think honestly, my biggest challenge was still yet again myself. And I say that because sitting here like telling myself, look, am I going to be able to handle, you know, leading all of these people, you know? Like one thing that one of my bros, one of my boys taught me, and he's someone that I introduced to the actual business and trading. And one thing that he told me, and I kind of see him as a mentor, even though, he was under me. And knowing that when you're a leader, you're still a student always. You know, it doesn't matter what rank somebody is. If you can learn from somebody, you learn from somebody. You still, take in that information as you're a student still, no matter what. So the biggest thing that he said to me is, you worried about something that hasn't even happened yet. How about this? Go ahead and build your team, lead them, to the best of your ability. Share this with as many people as you can. And when you get to that situation where you have, 100 people, worry about whether you can lead them then. But until you get there, I wouldn't even worry about whether you can lead them because you haven't even been in that position to lead that many people yet. At this point, you're getting inside your own head. And I think as a leader, that's why I say the biggest challenge was definitely myself. My biggest reward is, I guess you could say, knowing that I have experience in network marketing, experience, a little bit more experience in trading now, being able to sit here and guide and help people and get people started on the way to their path to wherever goals that they're trying to achieve, and actually seeing some of my students and some of my customers actually achieve some of those goals has been the biggest reward ever. Like, to literally see somebody, hey, Stephan, guess what, man? I know I was messing up in the beginning. I wasn't listening. I was doing what I want to do. I lost all this money. Guess what? Everything that I lost, I've made all back plus more because I didn't give up, man. You told me not to give up. And shout out to my boy, Big Mike, man. I love him to death. If he's able to see this, just know we go back to middle school, man. Thank you for staying the course, man. Thank yourself for staying the course, because he definitely stayed the course, and man, he achieved some amazing results, And I'm just gonna say shout out to Nas 300 because that's his favorite one.
That's great, because again, Rosa said it earlier, getting out of our own heads. You know how we get in our own way because we're thinking, and we got to get back on track. And that's what personal development is come into play, because
Mm-hmm.
that is such a huge part of the mentorship, the personal development. So one of
Yeah.
the other questions I want to ask you, what is your key message to anybody listening right now, or why they should invest and not just spend, like you said earlier, to, like we had, remember that training we had a couple months ago with Jo, and he
Right.
said what to do with the dollar. Remember that training, and he broke down what you should be doing with the dollar. And I know for me that night, I said, okay, I got stuff coming out of my checking account on auto pay that I don't even use. I got rid of Hulu.
Right.
I got rid of some stuff. And I'm like, this is $12 you could be investing instead of spending on Hulu or Netflix. So speak to those
Exactly.
people who are spenders And they've been introduced, people have been introduced to opportunities to invest, but they feel like, oh no, I'm good. But really, I want you to speak from your heart to those who are listening, who will see this. And why should they start investing in themselves, in their futures, in their future generations?
Because at the end of the day, it's bigger than ourselves, you know. First of all, when we spend that money, and I love using this, when you spend that money, guess what? It ends with you and begins with someone else. It's completely left your possession. You don't have that money. Versus when you invest that money, all you've done was allowed your money to work for you. You know what I mean? You've allowed that money to multiply for you, whether it's in your sleep, whether you're at work, no matter what you got going on. You've allowed that money to do that for you, to in turn potentially bring you back an even bigger return. And you don't get that opportunity when you're spending money versus investing. So I say that to say it opens up a world of options for you. And I use my own story for example. When I was going through some of my adversities, some of the things that we're dealing with, I give an example. Right now, obviously we're in a pandemic. A lot of people are losing jobs. A lot of people are getting their hours cut. I got my hours cut, 50% of my hours. Um, a lot of things were going on. I remember one particular month, my rent was due, my car note was due. I had to make repairs on my car. Not to mention, not to mention, my check was extremely short, extremely short. And because I've taken the time to invest the money into learning the skills, but also invest the money into the markets, I was able to build a trading account, focus, just literally just focus and build a trading account. Um, I can't remember exactly what I started with, but I grew that account literally 400% over the course of like 8 days. And I was able to use that money, literally use that money to pay my rent, all because I decided to invest in the skills, but also once, as I'm learning the skills, also invest money into my trading account and let my money work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, in turn, my reward was it blessed me with a little more money, and I was able to use that money to, pull myself out of a hole that I was in. All
Yes.
because I took a leap of faith. All because I didn't sit there and say, "Oh man, it's a pandemic. Oh man, you know what? Let me just save this money and spend it on this." And no, I invested that money and got a return for it. You know, so I say all that to say this. I know we're in rough times right now. I know, the pandemic is still alive and well, but just keep in mind that the Black community itself, I saw a little study that's saying within the next 20 years that our net worth collectively will actually be at zero. Not saying that everybody's net worth is going to be zero, but you got to think all of the debt that a lot of us are in, from credit cards, from car notes, from house loans, from college. You might be making six figures, but if you still owe 300K on your home, your net worth is not 160K
Mm-hmm.
because you got to tie in that debt, you know? So learning how to create those different streams of income helps, create assets basically that can help pay off your house, that can help pay off your car, that can help pay off your car note. Um, Taking that time to learn how to, to invest and learn those particular skills will put you in position to be able to do those types of things. And I still have a little bit of debt, but guess what? I've been able to pay some of this debt down thanks to these skills. And guess what? Best believe, best believe I will be debt free. What year we in? We're in what, 2021? End of this
Mm-hmm.
year. End of this year, I'll be debt free.
Well, you know what? I will attest to the fact that I'm credit card debt free because of this skill set. So I paid off all credit cards with the money from the trade account. And you know what? Also, too, I want to mention because you talked about debt last night. If you go to my Facebook page, go to that lady Sharice Richards' website. Her specialty is teaching people how to get debt elimination while building generational wealth. Every
Woo.
lane of financial literacy is different. The Academy is one lane of financial freedom. So her website's on my page from last night. Check her out because she's really powerful. I've known her for a while, and she is already a multimillionaire and been informed for 10 years because she teaches you how to get out of debt elimination while you're still building the wealth. And she invests in she has 6 different streams of income. I now have 3 or 4 since the Academy. But my thing is, I've gained another 2 or 3, and this has just been the beginning. The Academy is a tool, right? You use it, and it opens other doors for you to get your mindset to wait a minute. So I have different streams of investing, and so you should have up to 7 streams of income. And so that I just want to say that because you hit on a key point. You're not really free if you got all this debt up here. And you might invest, but you got to have enough streams of income rolling in return on your investment so you can get out of the debts because you're not really free until you're financially free. And then you really can't even move into your lane of purpose until you got the freedom. You can't help nobody when you're in change yourself.
Right.
So, but yeah, well said, because that's exactly right. Getting out of debt is a big thing. So, look, final question and very important. How can people reach you directly? Because now, if you want to share a phone number, I will type that phone number under this posting. At the end, I'll edit the posting, and this is going to be forwarded to your page as well. But how can people reach you directly to start with this opportunity? And I'm going to write it down so I can actually type it under the posting. Okay, so just share how can people reach you and why they should reach you ASAP to start with I Am Mastery Academy and start investing in themselves.
Most definitely. I don't mind sharing my phone number, but I'm gonna definitely share my Instagram. My Instagram is Embody Growth. That's EMBODYGROWTH. Embody Growth. And also, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my
No, wait a
you
minute.
know
Let me
what?
say this. Wait, before you do that. Let me say this. Rosa,
It's
you want
all
to
joke.
share? No, you know what I would do? Let's do that because
Uh,
we have had a couple guys. We've had guys on. Amadou was one of them last year.
mhm.
Amadou gave his phone number out one of the first times, and people who give their phone number out have it connected to a Google Voice number. You have a Google Voice number which you can attach your cell phone to a Google Voice number. So on social media, you give out your Google Voice. But you give me the real one, I'll put it up there.
No, real life. Why not? So 706
Mm-hmm.
399
Mm-hmm.
7380.
Okay. It's going to
And
be
if
listed under the post.
if they're serious, if you're serious, text freedom.
Oh,
Simple as
okay.
that.
Okay. So they text the word freedom. Okay.
Text the
All
word
right.
freedom.
Okay, it's very important. I'm very serious, and so I really, Rose and I've been doing this. Oh my gosh, this last summer, and we
Ooh.
always say we have an anniversary date coming up somewhere, but we've been doing this a while, and we only had Christmas off. We have to have a couple weeks off recently, and it's not because we planned them, but this platform has always been to elevate the members of BProsperous Trade team and what we have to offer and each person on the team. And so I just think you're a delight. I met you because we're on the same, you were all under Miss Hazelton together and Linda. And I just always call you Mr. Charismatic. So any other words of wisdom that you want to share with anybody listening before we leave? And we always ask Rosa to speak at the end because Rosa has a lot of wisdom. She always drops a gem and drop the mic right at the end. So any words of wisdom from the two of you?
I mean, all I want to say is, look, don't give up on yourself. You deserve so much more than what you realize. Don't give up on yourself. Don't sell yourself short. Um, if this isn't for you, there's something out there. There's so much the world has to offer. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let your current situation stop you. And I think the biggest thing is don't let you stop you
Mm.
from your greatness.
Yes, yes, yes. Rosa?
All I really have to say is that, some people out there may be comfortable but you just have to get uncomfortable, because the only way you're going to achieve what you want is when you get uncomfortable. The more comfortable you are, the farther away you are from achieving your goals. You know, God has so much greatness for each and every one of us. We get stuck in our heads, but it's just do it. I mean, that's the only thing. People tell me all the time, you know, just do it. Fear, don't allow it to just stop you from doing what you need to do. Do it scared and do it.
And what's your favorite saying about the comfort zone, Rosa, that you want to share?
Your comfort zone is your broke zone. Always will be.
Comfort zone is a
Always
broke
will
zone. Yes.
Shot
And
fired. Pew,
yeah, that's
pew.
yeah, but he was talking about too. People think things are a scam, and scam is just you're still confused about money. That's all
Still
scam
confused
means.
about
You're still
money.
confused about money, and all of us on here had to take a leap of faith at some point, and invest. And I call it a slavery mindset. When you keep spending your money, African Americans, we're the biggest consumers in the country. We spend more of our money propping the economy up of other people, and yet we don't invest in ourselves. And that's all with mindset, and that's the truth. And so, with that being said, we appreciate you for coming on. And I'm very excited that you were here. And I'm going to give me 5 minutes to update this post, for this information under the post, and reach out to this phenomenal gentleman to get started with a phenomenal opportunity. It's life changing, because look, you're going to spend some money somewhere, but we can stop making other people wealthy and invest in your future and your family's future. And next week we're excited, because I call her my poet laureate, Miss Sade Richardson, will be in the building. She is
Shout
one of
out
my
to
yeah.
Sade.
Yeah, Sade will be here, and I'm not going to announce the next person because I got to confirm the next person. But a powerhouse person will wrap up the month of March for us. I'm going to keep that under wraps. But we appreciate Stephan.
Thank you
I
so
just think you have such a spirit of joy. I think that's when I think of you. I think of joyous. And that comes from going through trials and tribulations. When you come through the other side, it's always joy. Don't get me started. But it's always joy because you've been through some stuff in the trials and tribulations. And that's when you're going to have joy on the muntop when you've been through the valley. So I
Most
just appreciate
definitely.
you that you kept your head up and you keep on going, and that you're going to change a lot of lives, more than 100.
much.
So more than 100. So way more. We're gonna see him speaking like David Vite one day up on stage in
Yeah.
person, because pandemic is it's wrapping up. I mean, the vaccinations here. Not everybody's gonna want to get vaccinated, but you look at the things are turning around. But if people gotta keep safe, and I see some DC, Maryland, DMV, we one of the safe places. We don't play with these masks. My
Right.
concern is that people keep their mask on. These states are lifting the mask mandates. I'm like, what you doing? No, don't be lifting the mask mandates right when people are getting right. But we're not. I'm not. Well, I don't live in one of those areas, but I appreciate you and what you have to offer. And I'm going to ask everybody to reach out to you. I'm going to put this information out there. So, and I'll put the word text freedom to this gentleman, because if you want to be free, you want to reach out to Stephan White. Rosa, anything you're going to say before we leave?
Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, I really appreciate you and all the energy and all the joy you have, and always keeping a smile on your face. So I'm excited for you and what you're going to accomplish in 2021.
Yes. Okay, Mr. White, he didn't grown. He like, look, he ready.
Oh my, hold on. I'm
We're
sorry.
done.
Did I
No, we're
miss
done.
something?
We're just saying, reach out, give me 5 minutes to update the post, and hopefully you get
Okay.
a lot of people reaching out to you, because this is Mr. P, this is Mr. Chairman on his way, to chairmanship, and so we're going to support that this year. We already call it done. It's done. So happy and grateful now that this is a chairman that you're looking at, Mr. White. And we thank you. And Sade Richardson, don't miss next Friday, because this is a powerhouse female, powerhouse leader, and we're going to be so excited to have Sade with us. So y'all have a blessed and phenomenal week on purpose. Take care.
Have a great one, y'all. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.